What's up everyone, Allan Morrow here from AM Studios. Today I want to show you how you can use a multi-band compressor to help you reference some tracks. Now before we get into that, if you'd like to hit that subscribe and notification bell if you're looking for tips and tricks with your trance productions and need extra help, or if you look for more in-depth tutorials, then be sure to head over to allanmorrowstudios.com where there is a huge amount of start to finish courses, samples, templates, sound banks and all these sorts of things to help you with your productions. So let's get into the video. So how can you use a multi-band compressor to help you with your reference tracks? Now, with a lot of my clients, I always suggest, especially in the early days of producing, and I still use them now, is to use reference tracks. Throw in the actual track into your project and use it as a reference to sort of not copy the track. You don't want to be doing that. You want to be using it as sort of a way to sort of help you get your levels right. You know, for example, your clap's too loud, your bass is too wide, all these sorts of things that you can quickly get an idea of when you have a reference track and just quickly A/B. But in the early stages of production, when you're listening to a reference track, for example, your ears might not be tuned enough yet to sort of really isolate certain areas of a track. So one thing that I used to use when I first started producing was a multi-band compressor to sort of isolate certain frequency bands. Now, the way that I did that is I put this on the master channel. And if you can try and imagine, I've started a track here below, for example, and this is my reference track at the top. What I've got on the master output is a multi-band compressor, but it's not doing anything. What you want to make sure is that it's not actually changing the sound in any way. So I've actually turned up all the thresholds and everything on this, so it's not actually doing anything when I turn it on. So when I play this track, if I just give you a little example of this track. Now this track is a track that was created as one of the start to finish courses. If you'd like to check that out on the website, you can do that. So this is the track for that. So what I'm just going to do is play this track. So you don't want it to be compressing it in any way, shape or form. The reason why I use this, and you can use any sort of plugin that you want, as long as it's not changing the sound, but the plugin also has to allow you to solo certain bands. So in this plugin, for example, there is 4 different bands here, and I can solo certain bands. So when I'm creating my track, and let's say I've got my track pretty much finished, you kind of want to be waiting till your track is almost finished to do this, to double check, because you don't want to be referencing a track that, you know, your track's very bare and isn't nowhere near finished, and the reference track is finished. It's got all the high end stuff in there in terms of frequency wise and all that sort of stuff. It's not going to be a very sort of a good thing to reference when it's at those 2 different stages of the production. So wait till it's kind of finished. But the beauty of having this is I can have my track playing, and then when I'm referencing the reference track, I can solo certain bands, for example, like the low end. I might just want to hear the low end and how my low end sounds compared to the reference track. So, you know, I can just solo that band, for example, or I could solo a mid-range band. And then I can flick, whilst this is soloed, I can flick between my track and their track to have a little listen to sort of see were my track either maybe too loud or too quiet, and all these different things that you can sort of reference from that. Another one which is good to sort of check is the difference between your highs and your lows, to check the balance is right in your track. So you can solo all these bands and then obviously have a little listen to all of them together, or just turn it off. Or you can bypass certain areas. So I found this really helpful when I first started producing. I don't use it as much now, but it is good to sort of isolate, especially if you're just getting started, to isolate those areas. So just try different combinations and keep flipping between your track and the reference track to see, you know, where you're falling short or whatnot. So hopefully this little tip has helped you. If you haven't yet done so, be sure to head over to AM Studios and check out the AM Studios free production community, where you get exclusive tips and tricks sent directly to your inbox. I'll leave a link on the screen above. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks, guys.